Hey everybody, my name is Cole and welcome to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about my favorite credit card of all time and exactly how this credit card made me over $800 in profit in 2020. But before we get started, if you wouldn't mind liking the video, if you find this kind of content interesting, it really helps me out and lets me know what kind of content I should create in the future. And also consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more videos about finance and millennial business. And now, let's get started. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the Chase Sapphire Reserve Card and how exactly it made me over $800 in net profit in the year 2020, and ultimately why it's my favorite credit card of all time. And to do that, we need to catch everybody up to speed on credit cards. So you may or may not know that there are three different kinds of credit cards which all serve different purposes. You have cashback credit cards, low interest / no fee transferable balance credit cards, and then you have travel credit cards. And within these different kinds of credit cards, you also have different levels. Usually lower level credit cards have very little to no annual fee, and they have moderate benefits that they give you for using their card. And higher level credit cards accrue a much higher annual fee, but they also give you very excellent benefits to using those cards. And the rest of the cards just kind of fall somewhere in between those two. So this card right here, the Chase Sapphire Reserve Card, is definitely what we would call a high-level credit card with an annual fee to match. When I got this card in late 2019, it had a $450 annual fee just for using the card, and that was extended to the year 2020. It's worth noting, though, that the annual fee has been raised and will now be $550 every single year, which is definitely not for the faint of heart. Okay, so starting off the year in 2020 with this credit card, I'm starting at a net loss of $450 for that annual fee. So the question remains, how did I make over $800 worth of profit from this card in 2020? And to answer this, we need to start off with the rewards that Chase uses to justify this crazy high annual fee. All right, so the first reward we should talk about is the travel credit. So right off the bat, Chase gives you $300 of a travel credit annually. This can be used for purchasing flights, baggage fees, buying Uber rides, pretty much anything that has to do with travel. And this credit resets every single year. So in 2020, I got a $300 travel credit, and in 2021, I also have a $300 travel credit again. Now, side note, you may have to be mindful with this travel credit and make sure that you're actually using it fully every single year. And the nice thing about this is if you're at the end of the year and you kind of forgot to use it throughout the year, you don't have to go purchase a flight. You can really just purchase a gift card from your favorite airline and then just use that whenever you are going to buy travel in the future. And that's exactly what I did at the end of 2020 to make sure I maximized that travel credit. So next you have the $60 DoorDash credit, which I know some people might be saying, well, that's not really a value of $60 because you probably wouldn't have used DoorDash if you didn't have that credit. And that's totally correct. I wouldn't use DoorDash if I didn't have this credit to use every year. But the way I see it is that at the end of the day, a meal is a meal, and that's one less meal that I have to pay for through groceries or through another kind of delivery service. So for all intent and purposes, I'm going to say it's a $60 value for that $60 DoorDash credit. Now, Chase also gives you a $120 membership for DoorDash, which is called Dash Pass. It's $10 every single month for a year. That's the cost that it would be if you just purchased Dash Pass on its own. So Chase values that at $120 because basically that's what it is. And they also give you a Grubhub Plus and Seamless Plus membership, which also equals about $120 annually. So combined, that's $240 annually. And this is also something that I do value at the price that they say it should be valued at, because again, in 2020 especially, with quarantine going on, it's really not that tough to get the full bang for your buck when you're looking at delivery services for food. So I know personally, I have definitely gotten more than my value out of both Grubhub, Seamless, and DoorDash Dash Pass. So I'm still valuing those at $240 for those memberships, but that might not be the same for everybody. So keep that in mind if you're looking at possibly getting this credit card. Okay, and the last big reward that I'm counting here for the Chase Sapphire Reserve that they just give you for being a card member is Priority Pass. So for those of you who don't know, Priority Pass is really just a accumulation of different lounges that exist in many different airports, especially throughout the US. This is valued at $300 a year. Part of that reasoning is because it's kind of its own classification of Priority Pass that you can't really get by itself. They give you a special membership for having this kind of card. And while I was never somebody who considered Priority Pass before getting this card, it's still something that I think that I definitely get the $300 value out of when you take into consideration that these lounges have unlimited free food, unlimited free drinks, really good Wi-Fi, which if you're an avid traveler, getting good Wi-Fi in an airport can be a struggle to say the least. So all those things combined with the fact that it's really nice to just kind of get away from everybody, especially if you're traveling during 2020 and you're looking to kind of keep your distance. I'm not totally sure what Priority Pass lounges are open right now, so you should check that. But being able to kind of stay away from people and have your own comfortable section where you can have, good seating and Wi-Fi and food and all that kind of stuff, it's definitely worth it. At least for me in 2020, with the very few trips that I ended up taking, I was definitely able to get more than $300 worth of value out of having this Priority Pass. So with all those things taken into consideration, I definitely see Priority Pass as being worth $300 as long as you make sure to get the most bang for your buck out of that whenever you travel. And there are a lot of other rewards that the Chase Sapphire Preferred offers you, but those are just the ones that I actually think that I get value out of. A bunch of these other little things don't really make much of a dent in terms of me evaluating if it's worth the fee or not. But adding up all these rewards I mentioned that actually make a difference for me, that's about $900 in value that you're getting from this Chase Sapphire reward card. But wait, there's more. So in addition to all the different rewards that they offer you for having this card, you also need to talk about the points that you get back for just using the card on regular purchases. So this card provides 3x points on travel and dining purchases, and all other purchases are about 1 point per dollar spent. If you're kind of new to points, all this means is that for every dollar that you spend using this card for travel or dining purchases, they're going to give you 3 cents back in points. And then of course for all other purchases, they're going to give you 1 cent back for every dollar that you spend. But wait, there's even more. When you're using your points in the Chase portal for travel, they actually let you redeem your points for 1.5 times the value. So if you had $100 worth of points, which is 10,000 points, you could just redeem those points for straight cash and get $100 back, which is totally cool. But if you use those points for travel purchases instead, you can get 1.5 times the value. So that $100 is actually worth $150 when redeemed for travel through the Chase portal. So if you always use your points for travel purchases, like me, you end up getting 1.5 times the value for every point that you've earned. So if we take a look at my spending for 2020 using this card, you can see that Chase kind of breaks down your spending into all the different categories that you spend money on. You can see that I spent a total of $16,562.92 using this card, and it breaks it down into all the different categories right here. So food and drink, that's going to fall under dining. You can see that I spent about $3,104 using this card. And then also if we jump over to travel, which I believe is right here, you can see that I spent about $1,340 on travel using this card. So if we take the total spending that I had for dining at $3,104, and we add that to the amount that I spent on travel at $1,340, adding those two together and seeing that I got about 3 points per dollar spent on those categories, that ends up being about $133.34 worth of points for those two categories. And if we subtract those two amounts that I spent in from the total, we end up getting about $12,119 spent in other categories. So at 1 point per dollar spent in those categories, that ends up being about 121 points. So when I'm taking those points and I'm redeeming them for travel through the Chase portal, we can multiply those two combined together, which was a value of $254.53 times 1.5, which ends up giving us a value of $381.79 worth of value when redeeming those points for travel in the Chase travel portal. So then if we take the value of those points and we add it to all the different credits that I'm getting through Chase, and then of course we subtract that annual fee of $450, you see that I got a net profit of $831.79 just for using this card on regular purchases that I would have spent money on anyway. So at the end of the day, even with the $450 annual fee, and even when I eventually have to pay that $550 annual fee, it really pales in comparison to the profit that I'm getting from using all of those different benefits in addition to the points that I'm getting for just regular spending on the card that I would do anyway. So there you have it, guys. That's exactly how this card earned me over $800 in net profit for the year 2020. And keep in mind, that's a year when travel was very, very low for me. So most years I'm probably getting closer to $900 or $1,000 worth of value just from having this card and using it regularly for normal purchases that I would buy anyway. And so thank you guys so much for watching. Please, if you haven't yet, like this video if you got all the way this far, and consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more content like this video. I'm trying to post as often as I possibly can, and commenting below also is a great way to let me know what questions you have, what things I didn't miss, or what topics you'd like me to cover in a future video. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and have a great day.